Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for Storytime this week. Today we are going to be talking all about the rain. So spring is known for being super rainy. So today our book is called Duck and Hippo in the Rainstorm. Duck knocked on Hippo's door. Knock, knock, knock. "Hi, Duck," said Hippo. Duck twirled her umbrella. "It's spring! Spring," she said. "Want to walk in the rain? It'll be so much fun." Said Hippo. He was worried about the weather. "If you'll share your umbrella." "Of course," said Duck. So Hippo pulled on his big rubber boots. But there was no room for Hippo. He tried walking in front of Duck, but that didn't work. He tried walking behind Duck, but that didn't work either. Then Duck stood on Hippo's feet and Hippo held the umbrella, and that worked just fine. They puddle jumped together, they plopped through mud together, and they dropped a stick off a bridge and watched it rush on down the creek. Swoosh! What's your all's favorite thing to do in the rain? I think mine is jumping in the puddles too, like they did up here. Duck said, "Want to sail down the creek? It'll be like riding a roller coaster." Said Hippo. It looked like the storm was getting worse. If you'll share your umbrella." "Of course," said Duck. So Hippo put the umbrella in the creek and helped his little friend sit down. But there was no room for Hippo. Hippo tried sitting in front, but that didn't work. Hippo tried sitting in back, but that didn't work. See, they flipped over. Then Duck sat on Hippo's lap, and that worked just fine. They swirled around boulders together. They whirled around a crocodile together. Eee! That's scary. Finally, they twirled into a pond and began to sink. Uh-oh. Hippo totally disappeared. Duck looked all around for her best friend. "Hippo! Hippo, where are you?" "Here I am, silly Duck," spluttered Hippo, bursting up for air. Duck was sitting on Hippo's head. Oh my goodness, how silly is that? Hippo sloshed up out of the pond and stood dripping on the bank as the rain crashed down. "Ah, spring, don't you love it?" said Duck. "Want to walk home in the rain?" Hippo just stood there soaking wet. "If you'll share your umbrella," said Hippo. "Of course," said Duck. This time, Duck sat on Hippo's shoulders. She held the umbrella, and that worked just fine. But before they could get going, a terrible wind came roaring and whoosh! The umbrella flew up, up, up. It sailed high over the trees. And Duck was still hanging on. "Help!" cried Duck. Uh-oh. So Duck is blowing away with the umbrella. What is she gonna do? "I'm coming!" yelled Hippo. Hippo raced after Duck just as fast as his hippo legs would carry him, until Hippo almost tripped over a woodchuck, but he caught his balance just in time and kept on running. and the small but nimble duck just missed hitting a tall, tall treetop. Uh-oh. Then down, down, down spun her umbrella like a falling leaf, and Duck landed on Hippo's shoulders, right in front of Hippo's house. "Thanks, Hippo," cried Duck. "That was fun." "You're welcome," said Hippo. "Will you join me for a warm cup of tea?" Hippo asked. "Of course," said Duck. She closed her umbrella, then they both went in the door at the same time. Duck and Hippo are silly, aren't they? "Whoops!" cried Hippo, and he squeezed back out and said, "After you, dear Duck." And that worked just fine. The end. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and move on to our craft for the day. Alright, so for our craft today, we are going to be making our own marble paintings. So it's going to turn out something like that. And what you're going to need today is a large pan or a plate, shaving cream, food coloring, toothpicks, and a piece of paper. You can pick a template up that has the umbrella on it, just like this from the library, or you can just draw your own. But what you're gonna do, you're just gonna take your shaving cream and put a thin layer on your plate or pan, just until you have all of it covered. You don't need a whole lot. And make sure you have your adult help you with this because it can get messy. Okay? So, I'm gonna rinse my hands real quick. Then we are gonna add our food coloring, and you can do whatever colors you want. So I'm gonna do a couple drops of green. And you just want to space them out wherever. We'll do some blue. And how about some red too? Okay, so once you get that done, you're going to take your toothpicks and just swirl them around in your shaving cream, kind of mix the colors in a little bit. Okay, just something kind of like that. All right, and then you were just going to take your paper and just gently press it onto all of that shaving cream. And you should end up with something like that. Okay, so now you're gonna let that dry and then cut out the shape of your umbrella. And you see how the edges didn't really get colored on them? You can dip it back in right on the color. That way you can get your edges covered. Just like that. Okay, so we're gonna let this dry and then we will cut it out and glue it onto a piece of paper. It can be black construction paper, it can be just whatever color you have laying around. You can glue it on there and then cut out your raindrops and put them all around. And that is what the end product is going to look like. I hope you all enjoyed this craft, and I will see you all back next week for story time.